write a new book and it calls Heroes and Helpers. Introduction. Would you rather be a hero or a helper? Do you know that you can be both? When we hear the word helper, we may think of someone who is a server in a restaurant or a greeter at a church or business. The truth is that helpers are everywhere. Workers at jobs, whether they big or small. Everyone can help, from washing dishes for families to pick up trash off the school floor in Philadelphia 25/7. Christmas, we are called to be helpers and serve others like Jesus did when he came to earth. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no dispositions, and took upon him in the form of servant, and was made in the likeness of man. Jesus humbled himself. He set aside his power and glory, made himself seem to be no more important than any other man, but he fed the hungry, healed the sick, forgave sinners, and even washes his disciples' feet, all because he was God and loved mankind. When we help others, we should serve them with love and humility, just as Jesus did. When we hear the word hero, we often think of knights in shining armor riding off to battle, or a strong man to a cave fighting crime in the streets. Though these heroes that we might think of might be incredible and well known, there is much more to being a true hero. The word hero means someone who is known for an act for courage of great character. This is why so often heroes and helpers are not that different. While the one received praise and cheering, the other was silent and often unnoticed. Even still, both can be known for their character, whether it was striking courage and bravery or incredible humility and love. We can be a helper, just as the Bible has called us to be. We can work hard and help the people around you every day, but be a hero as well. Be humble enough to help someone when no one else will. Be kind enough to serve someone who has not been kind to you. Be brave enough to lend a hand even if others tease you. Be both, because our world needs more helpful heroes like you. Okay, I reached to the next story of Poland, and it's called What's Made a Hero. It's more than shining armor, gleaming swords and steel, more than roaring cannon fire and raging battlefields. It's courage and compassion, born as for the right. It's wisdom to discover the foe and strength to win the fight. Okay, the construction workers. Have you ever looked out the window of your car on the ride home and seen boulders or cranes along the side of the road? Sometimes beside the road was under construction. Construction workers have a hard job. They build things every day, such as bridges, tunnels, schools, churches, stores, and parks. A construction worker may learn to drive a huge bulldozer or operate a crane or skeleton truck. Other workers may learn how to wet metal so that it holds together. There are many other things that construction workers can do, but they often work all day in the heat or cold, lifting heavy beams of digging up top ground. Your church or favorite restaurant, the park near your house, none of them would be there if industrious workers had not built them. These workers don't just build things. Some workers plan the buildings ahead of time to make sure they will be strong. Buildings in Florida have to be studied in order to stay standing during a big hurricane, and buildings in California need to be strong enough to withstand an earthquake. Can you imagine what would happen if these workers did not do their jobs? The next time you see those orange caution cones and yellow tape, smile and walk around them so the industrial workers can keep up their hands work and make your city bigger and better than it was before. Okay, I'll read you the next story. It's called A Tale of Beaver Pond. The rain had fallen steady for 2 days and 2 nights, not just gentle drizzle, but a heavy downpour. For some time it did not least downstairs Brownie, Berry, and his neighbor, that is to say, all but one of them, for there was a very old gentleman in the village known as Granddaddy Beaver, who began to worry almost as soon as it began to rain. "We're going to have a fresh night," he said to everyone he met. "As I'm starting many those time I can tell a fresh night almost as soon as come." Granddad Beaver friends paid no heed to his warning. Some of them were so unkind that laughed. The old gentleman climbed on top of the house and began to mend it. "The young folks can poke fun at me if you want to," and said Granddad Beaver, "but I am going ahead and make my house as strong as I can. When the fresh night gets there, I don't want my home washed away." All day long, Beaver would not stop watching the old fellow work upon his roof. Everyone thought it was a great joke until the second day came and everyone noticed that it was really just as hard as ever. No one except Granddaddy Beaver had ever heard of freshers at the time of year, so even then nobody else went to work on his house, though some beavers did not stop smiling. "Officer, you know it's a serious thing." As the second day passed, the rain seemed to fall harder still. Granddad Beaver kept putting new sticks on the roof of his house and positing mud over them. At last, Brownie Beaver began to think that perhaps the old gentleman was right. After all, that maybe everyone else was wrong. So Brownie went home and set to work, and all the neighbors at once began to smile at him. But Brownie Beaver didn't mind that. "The roof needed mending anyhow," he said, "and if we should have a freshening, I'll be ready for it. And if we don't have one, there'll be no harm done." Now all this time the water had been rising slowly, but that was no more than everyone expected. Since it was raining so hard, when the second night came, the water began to rise very fast. It rose so quickly that several families found their bedroom floors under water almost before they knew it. And old Granddaddy Beaver went through the village and stopped it on every door. "What do you think about it now?" he said. "Is it a freshening or isn't?" In the house where the water had climbed above the bedroom floors, the beaver all agreed that it refreshing. That Granddaddy Beaver had been right all the time, but there was still plenty of beaver who thought the old gentleman was mistaken. The water wouldn't come any higher, they said. It never has at this time of year, but they looked it a bit wrong. Instead of that, they said, Granddaddy came to Brown Beaver house. He was glad, so found that there was one person at least that had taken his advice. The pond rose so quickly and the water rushed past so fast that Beaver had to scramble out their house and begin to work on them to keep them from being washed away. That the rush water meant only one thing: the pond had full of running over, and it was likely that the dam would be carried away. The dam on which Granny Beaver had worked when he was the youngest, and one on which his own granddaddy had worked before him. It would take years and years to build another dam such as that. Now, with almost everyone working on his own house, there was almost no one left to work on the dam, but they never stopped thinking about that. They never once remembered that out of the whole village, old Granddaddy and Brown Beaver were the only ones whose house had been made ready for refresh, and those two were the only ones who had nothing to do at home. There must be plenty of help saved the dam. Everyone saved to himself. I'll just work on my house now. Brown Beaver never knew that there was nothing more he could do to make his house safe, so he ran back to the escape to find a good many of his neighbors. The old granddad Beaver was the only one he found, and he seemed worthy. It's a great pity, he said to Brownie. Here's this fountain which has taken so many years to build, and is going to be washed away. Mark my words, that makes you think that, asked Brownie. There's nobody here to do anything, said Granddaddy Beaver. The spillways of this dam ought to be big as possible to let the freshest pass through. I can swim as well as I could once. Brownie looked. Rushing water was poured down the dam in the 100th place and carried off the mud and stick, eating the dam away before his very eyes. I'll save the dam, he cried. You, Granddad exclaimed. What do you think you can do? Being older, he couldn't believe that Brownie was too young to do such difficult things. Watch me, I'll show you, Brownie Bill told him, and without saying another word, he sprang the nearest spillway and began making it bigger. Some things he had to find the freshest muddier to keep from being swept away from the dam himself. Sometimes, as he stood on the dam, it crumbled beneath him, and he found himself screaming. Good, how many narrow escapes he had that day. Brownie Beaver would never remember when they happened. He didn't have time to catch them. He was working so busily, and if old Grandpa Divin hadn't told everyone after how Brownie saved the great dam from being swept away, how hard he had worked, and how he swung fiercely until the other people wouldn't have known anything about. They had once the water went down almost as suddenly as the road, but they had to start thinking that there must have been some reason for it. When they learned that Brownie was a reason, the whole village gave him a vote of thanks. They wanted to give him a gold-hilted cane too, but they were unable to find one anywhere. Okay, this is and bye.